My oh my, that sure does look delicious. It is just missing one more ingredient to be absolutely perfect. Delicious. So, you've come to talk about Breath of the Wild, have you? Or rather, listen to a rather handsome stranger on the internet talk about it for you. Breath of the Wild. The game where you spend half your time climbing mountains, cooking dubious food, and getting shocked by lightning. Yeah, okay, let's talk about it. Hyrule in Breath of the Wild is huge. Like, I missed my best friend's wedding because I was trying to tame a bear huge. I didn't know you could tame bears until writing this script, by the way. Hi, friend! Nintendo didn't just make an open world, they made a living world. Every rock, every river, every angry mob of bokoblins feels organic. But you're telling me that I can send bombs at enemies using Octorok sacks, and I can launch myself across Hyrule on a stasis boulder, but I can't pet the fucking dogs? 0 out of 10, unplayable! Breath of the Wild completely flipped the Zelda formula on its head, giving the series a breath of fresh air. Oof! No more run around empty overworld, go to dungeon, get item, defeat boss, repeat until Ganon is dead. Now, shrines and the divine beasts, the new and improved versions of temples, are completely optional, just like everything else in the game. Sure, beating the divine beasts will make the final fight way easier, but if you're feeling brave or really dumb, you can just waltz right into Hyrule Castle naked with nothing but a tree branch and a dream. Uh-oh. This game doesn't hold your hand at all. You choose how to approach everything. Want to do all 120 shrines first? Go for it. Want to ignore every burden and expectation placed on little Link's shoulders after he just woke up from a pleasant nap and just ride around on a horse named Seaman? Then you absolutely can. And let's just take a moment to appreciate just how ridiculously huge and detailed this world is. You see that mountain in the distance? Well, you can climb it. You see that weird glowing spot miles away? It's probably something cool. Nintendo managed to create an open world that actually feels like something worth existing in, as opposed to just navigating it to make it to the next quest objective. In all seriousness, this might actually be the greatest open world game of all time, and my favorite game of all time is still The Witcher 3, but Breath of the Wild just does everything better than any game I've ever played before and since. It's just so engaging and visually pleasing. Pretty. Not many open world games make me want to actually explore the open world beyond wanting to discover the next main quest, or a lot of open world games exist primarily as a backdrop for the main missions, as opposed to the world existing as its own entity. This is something Breath of the Wild achieves perfectly. The world exists, and so do the people in it. And the best part? Exploration actually matters. There's always something to find. Korok seeds to expand your inventory, making the game easier. Hidden shrines to upgrade your health or stamina, making it even easier to explore and take on new challenges. Random NPCs who will either give you life-changing quests or just complain about the rain. You never know what you'll stumble upon next. Like saving the dragon on top of Mount Lineru, for instance. From a distance, it just looks like a unique rock formation atop the mountain, but as you get closer, you learn the ancient dragon has been tainted by Ganon's power, and it's your job to help save it. Or the shrouded shrine at the Typhlo ruins. What looked like a boring old swamp on the map turned out to be one of the most surprising, unique experiences I organically came across during my playthrough. At this shrine, you're lost in the darkness with only a torch to guide your way. I won't say much else about this one for those of you who've not experienced it, but it was unforgettable. Survival in Breath of the Wild is 10% combat skill, 20% remembering to wear pants, and 70% aggressively cooking everything in your inventory. Let's do this. In most games, food is a fun little gimmick. In Breath of the Wild, cooking is a necessity. You will be munching down on suspicious mushroom skewers like your life depends on it, because it often does. But the recipes make no sense whatsoever. 5 apples, boom, fruit salad. Add 1 frog, bam, garbage. Combat in Breath of the Wild is an art form. A brutal, unforgiving, cry-yourself-to-sleep art form. If Dark Souls had a baby with Zelda, this would be the result. Your weapons break every 2 minutes, meaning every battle is just you desperately scrolling through your inventory, praying you still have a stick left. In this game, Link has the agility and dexterity of a fridge. This game wants you to be a nimble, precise warrior, but instead you end up flailing around like a fish out of water while a moblin beats you into the dirt. Send help! Dodging in this game is also a gamble, and even after 80 hours and after beating Ganon, I still can't figure it out. You think you timed it right? Ha! Nope. Enjoy your complimentary view of the ground. Luckily, however, there are often lots of different ways to approach combat. In the open world, it can be avoided entirely if you're a big pussy, but if a head-on approach approach really isn't your thing, you can try blowing your enemies up with exploding barrels, or bombs delivered by airmail, or by pushing boulders down a mountain hoping it crushes them while they sleep. Ooh, that didn't feel good. Unlike pretty much all new games, there's no map plastered with exclamation and question marks encouraging you to go here and there. Literally, the thing that pissed me off the most about Cyberpunk 2077 was that the world has been built to be immersive and lived in, but the actual exploration of the game is completely impersonal, inorganic, and unrealistic. Like finding Skippy the talking gun, for example. Without this question mark on the map, there is no reason for V to ever think they should purposely drive to this random alleyway to investigate anything. Now, you may argue this would lead to the majority of the player base missing out on a very unique and interesting character, and you'd be absolutely right. But so what? That's what experiences are all about, right? Having something unique to you. If I don't know it's in the game, then I never knew I missed out on anything in the first place. Instead, what happens is I can't bring myself to complete the last mission of the game because I know I still have places to explore and side quests to complete because the game is constantly reminding me that I'm missing out on something. And as a result, I grind my way through these side quests until I'm completely burned out on the game and never want to play it again. I beat the game all the way back in January of 2021 and I still never want to go back. The amazing thing about Breath of the Wild? It doesn't tell you what to do. Instead, the map only shows you what you've already discovered. So what you get is a totally immersive, organic experience that is going to be completely unique to you. Oh boy. It wasn't until I googled some things after my first playthrough that I realized there were things I'd missed out on. But I didn't mind because in my first playthrough I did exactly what I wanted to, until I ran out of steam and decided to fight Ganon, without feeling the pressure that I was missing out on anything. You'll find all of the most fulfilling experiences by exploring, not by mindlessly following waypoints. And there are tons of thrilling things to do in Breath of the Wild. Want to help a guy build a town from scratch? You can. Want to build your own house from scratch? Guess what? You can. Want to spend hours perfecting your snowballing? Guess what? You can! Or maybe you'll just accidentally stumble across a glade overlooking Hyrule Field and stop to take in the sights. When it happens accidentally or organically, it's way more impactful than following a stupid question mark. No two people are going to have the exact same playthrough of this game. Some players might spend 20 hours just cooking and hunting and taking photos of nature, while others might go straight for the main quest and beat Ganon in 10 hours, unaware that there's 120 shrines waiting to be beaten, or that there's 3 hidden labyrinths, or that the best side quest in the game awaits them just offshore. This game rewards curiosity. If you see something cool in the distance, go check it out. Odds are there's something insane waiting for you. Or, you know, maybe just another little bastard hiding from you. There's 900 of these little shits. We should probably talk briefly about the main story, because it might be the most simple, straightforward story in any game ever. You lost a battle with Ganon 100 years ago, and were sealed away to recover your strength to fight another day. When you awake, you must reunite the races of Hyrule to stand against Calamity Ganon. You do this by freeing the Divine Beasts, ancient robots that were once used against Ganon, but are now controlled by manifestations of his evil. You free them from Ganon's evil one by one, and when you've done that, you storm Hyrule Castle, alone, to save Princess Zelda. That's it. And that's only if you decide to even do the Divine Beast questline. Once you beat the tutorial, you are free to go straight to the castle and beat the game with nothing but your ancient underwear and a rusty sword. Now, obviously, beating the game this way is nearly impossible because you have to take on all of Ganon's manifestations in a row. It's strongly encouraged that you go and find the Master Sword to make the late game more bearable. But again, like everything, it's completely optional. Just one more way this game breaks the tedious, repetitive Zelda format. I also really have to say, the fight through Hyrule Castle, when you finally make it there, is actually one of the most triumphant and incredible missions I've ever completed in a video game. I felt unstoppable at this point, like I really had something worth fighting for. This is also where the game's soundtrack really comes alive. It's been incredibly minimalist up to this point in a very effective way, and it's probably because the entire budget was spent on Hyrule Castle. I read a YouTube comment where someone mentioned the Hyrule theme sounds like the March of Fallen Soldiers marching behind you to reclaim what Ganon took from them, and that is so damn emotionally powerful and accurate that I'm not even ashamed to admit I didn't make that observation myself. So, is Breath of the Wild a perfect game? No. Does it have flaws? Of course, but so does everything. But when this game is good, it's really good. Like, oh my god, so good. It's wake up in the morning excited to play again levels of good. And as a gamer in his late 20s, that's not something I really experience anymore. I grew up with Zelda, but none of the games ever truly scratched the itch I had to truly feel like the hero of Hyrule. But Breath of the Wild changed my relationship to the series and finally gave me a game that I could play that captivated my loud, ADHD brain for a few hours every day and allowed me to lose myself in a world of magic and beauty where good always conquers evil. And these days, games like this are needed more than ever. Whoa, that was a lot of words. But I'm done now, I promise. I know, how disappointing. But if you enjoyed the video, maybe consider liking and subscribing, and maybe try checking out one of my other videos here. No, it's there. I'm really sure you'll like this one. Bye!